You probably know that the Vikings reached North America. That was Leif Erikson in the year 1000. But did the Norse travel as far as Ontario in today's Canada? That is the claim that we will look a little bit closer at here in this video. Now, Leif Erikson was the son of Eirik Raude, and Leif Erikson, he set sail from Greenland and they traveled west and then south. And the Norse, they settled in what is now Newfoundland. At least that's the place where we have actual archaeological evidence that they were settled for some time. We don't know how far south they went. We don't know if they traveled inland at all. We can assume they stayed by the coast because they were seafaring people mainly, and they went there to probably to find timber and also the type of soil that you can extract iron from. So they went there for the resources that they could not find on Greenland. But did they travel to Ontario? And why is there a runestone in Ontario? Now, a stormy night. It was a stormy night. And two trees cracked apart and revealed this runestone. People were ecstatic, of course. And they immediately claimed that, yes, this must be proof and evidence that the Vikings were here. Look at the runes. Look at the longship. 255 runes were carved into that rock, and also a longship. And I mean, I don't blame them, because I would have been ecstatic too if they had found a runestone where I live, and they kind of have, but I live here in Norway, so that's different. But if I had been in North America and they found a runestone there, I mean, what can I say? Wow. But the fact is that it's not a Viking runestone. If you read the runes, you quickly understand that this is not Viking age. It's a Lord's Prayer carved into that rock with runes in Swedish, and it was probably done in the 1800s. So that's kind of a disappointment to all the people who really wanted this to be a real Viking runestone. But here's the thing. The story is interesting because it illustrates how important the Norse culture and the runes being an extension of that was to people in Scandinavia. And runes were used in some parts of Sweden, some say up into the 1800s actually. And this is just, you know, just a fascinating look into our past. I think it was actually in the 1600s there was a book published, Runic ABC in Sweden, by a person, I can't remember his name now, a person who really wanted Swedish people to use runes more. It was part of their perception of national identity. So, yes, it's not a Viking runestone. And we don't know exactly how old it is. It must be older than those trees that cracked apart and had covered the runestone, and they were at least 80 years old. But someone, probably from Sweden, traveled to Ontario and carved the Lord's Prayer, or whatever it's called in English, into that rock. I think it's a fascinating story. And how far inland, how far south did the Norse travel? We still don't know. And by the way, my name is Bjorn, and I'm a historical novelist. And in one of my novels, I follow the characters as they travel across the sea, and they arrive in North America, and they meet the people who were already there. And doing research on that was extremely fascinating, and I learned a lot about the nations, the native nations of North America, and the resources that they probably were looking for, the Norse, when they went there. So I don't think that the claims, you know, that they traveled as far south as New York and even further south, I don't think that those claims are far-fetched at all. And I'm kind of expecting some evidence to appear in the future. And if you have some hints or evidence or something about that kind of points to the Norse having been there, please write so in the comments. There is another runestone, I think, is it called a Kensington stone? I might be wrong there. But that one, I believe, also is not Viking age, it's not that old. But you know, just right under our feet, under the soil that we are walking on, is a lot of evidence of what happened in the past. Now, the story about the Norse explorers like Leif Erikson, who went to North America, it's a very fascinating story. And they stayed in North America much longer than people seem to think, because the popular opinion out there seems to be that they were immediately chased away by the natives, but that's not true. So yeah, I'm sorry I can't tell you that the runestone in Ontario is a Viking runestone. I wish I could, but there is nothing that points to that being true. But anyway, may I ask that you help this channel by subscribing? That would be awesome. Become part of this wonderful, friendly community by clicking that subscribe button. And join me out here in my local woods. I upload videos every week, so hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye bye and have a wonderful day.